कहाँ कबीरा एक काले कोठा गेला गोरा नटरा पाषाणे कुटिबो माता अनले पशिबो गौरांग गुणेर निधि कोठा गेले पाबो गौरांग गुणेर निधि कोठा गेले पाबो गेरा गेरा निधि से सब संगीरा संगे जे कोई नो बिला से सब संगीरा संगे जे कोई लो बिला से संगना पाया कांदे नरोत्तम दास से संगना पाया कांदे नरोत्तम दास करुणा प्रचो हे न प्रभु कोठा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod, Vaishnav Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. We'll just read the translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who has filled the compassion and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Srinivas Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopala Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, we are reading from Srimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 32, entitled Entanglement and Fruit of Activities, verse number 11. Atah tam sarvabhutanam hritpadmeshu kritalayam shrutanubhavam charanam vrajabhavena bhamini. Atah tam sarvabhutanam hritpadmeshu kritalayam Shrutanubhavam sharanam vrajabhavena bhamini. Atah tam sarvabhutanam hridpadmeshu kritalayam Shrutanubhavam sharanam vrajabhavena bhamini. Please chant. Hridpadmeshu kritalayam Shrutanubhavam sharanam vrajabhavena bhamini. Atatam sarvabhutanam hridpadmeshu kritalayam Shrutanubhavam sharanam vrajabhavena bhamini. Atatam sarvabhutanam
Padneshu Kritalayam Shutanubhavam Sharanam Vrajabhavena Bhamini.
अथातं सर्वभूतानां
Tam sarvabhutanam
पद्मेषु कृतालयं
padmeshu kritalayam
श्रुतानुभावं शरणं
Shrutanubhavam sharanam
भावेन भामिनि
Vrajabhavena bhamini. Mataji? Atha, therefore, Tam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 11,
Text 11, chapter
32. Sarvabhutanam, of all living entities. Hrid Padmeshu, in the lotus hearts. Krita Alayam, residing. Shruta Anubhavam, whose glories you have heard. Sharanam, unto the shelter. Vraja, go. Bhavena, by devotional service. Bhamini, my dear mother. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Therefore, my dear mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart. Please repeat after me. Therefore, my dear mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart. Purport. One can attain direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full Krishna consciousness and revive one's eternal relationship with Him as a lover, as Supreme Soul, as son, as friend, or as master. One can re-establish the transcendental loving relationship with the Supreme Lord in so many ways. And that feeling is true oneness. The oneness of the Mayavadi philosophers and the oneness of Vaishnava philosophers are different. The Mayavadi and Vaishnava philosophers both want to merge into the Supreme, but the Vaishnavas do not lose their identities. They want to keep the identity of lover, parent, friend, or servant. In the transcendental world, the servant and master are one. That is the absolute platform. Although the relationship is servant and master, both the servant and the served stand on the same platform. That is oneness. Lord Kapila advised his mother that she did not need any indirect process. She was already situated in that direct process because the Supreme Lord had taken birth as her son. Actually, she did not need any further instruction because she was already in the perfectional stage. Kapila Devi advised her to continue in the same way. He therefore addressed his mother as Bhamini to indicate that she was already thinking of the Lord as her son. Devahuti is advised by Lord Kapila to take directly to devotional service, Krishna consciousness, because without that consciousness, one cannot become liberated from the clutches of Maya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Before I begin, I would like to seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees, so that something worthwhile can be spoken in line with Srila Prabhupada's purport. So we see in this, of course, today is the most auspicious day of the disappearance day of His Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and also Shri Gadadhar Pandit. So we will definitely give some time to discuss at least Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life, maybe after discussing the purport. So we see in this chapter, Kapila Muni is explaining two things up till now. First, he talks about the karmis, how they're stuck in the material world. Then he talks about the yogis, how they also have to put a lot of effort to go back to spiritual world. How do the yogis go back to spiritual world? They have to first make it to the planet of Brahma. And Prabhupada writes, or the translation itself says, that to stay in Brahma's planet till the end of Brahma's life, of the duration of 2 parardhas or 311 trillion years. So they have to wait so long. You have seen that famous Prabhupada video where someone asked Prabhupada, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious or to surrender? Prabhupada first says, just 1 minute, he says. And then in some moments later he says, not 1 minute, 1 moment to surrender to Krishna. So compare 1 moment to 311 trillion years. Isn't it? So therefore the path of yogis is also pretty difficult. And therefore Kapila Muni is telling Mother Devavati that why to put so much effort? Directly go and take shelter of Krishna directly. You don't want to do anything else. Isn't it? So much of, in the Hindi, the word is janjat. Janjat means so much of trouble. Unnecessary trouble. That's how the context is as of now. And this verse he's saying, please take shelter of that process of bhakti yoga. So in the verse you see, Hrit Padmeshu Krita Alayam Shruta Anubhavam. Shruta Anubhavam means whose glories you have heard. Take shelter of him. Because till now Kapila Muni was explaining the glories of Krishna. The 25th chapter, the most celebrated chapter of 3rd canto, talks about the glories of devotional service. She has already explained all this to Mother Devavati. Now it's her time to take action. And then what you should do? Shrutanubhavam sharanam. Take shelter of that Supreme Lord. Vraja means go, bhavena bhamini. Go and practice devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So, in this world, there is, in our lives, we all have felt it, this feeling of disconnection, isn't it? You will better understand it when I go ahead. What is that feeling of disconnection? It is some sort of vacancy we feel in our lives, because of which we want to connect to something, isn't it? Otherwise, we always feel we are incomplete. But what are we supposed to connect with? The feeling definitely exists, and therefore, to mitigate the feeling, people connect with all sorts of things. Prabhupada in the purport is talking about oneness. And Prabhupada says Mayavadi oneness and Vaishnava oneness are different. They are not the same. What is Mayavadi oneness? They think I will merge into, Mayavadis means two types, of course. One is they merge into Brahman effulgence. Others who say I am only God, they go to hell. So, either way, the merging is always, in a way, incomplete, because eternally one cannot be in the Brahma Jyoti and forget about becoming God. So, Prabhupada says Mayavadi oneness is not the proper oneness. But does oneness exist? Yeah, Vaishnava oneness. What is Vaishnava oneness? That we'll understand. So, in this world, there is a disconnection. We feel that there is something to our life. And those people who cannot find the purpose to life, who cannot find what it is, they go by the fox philosophy of calling the grapes sour. You know, the fox which jumped up and up but couldn't get the grapes, finally told the other fox, don't worry about it. They asked, what happened? You are enduring so much day and night. And the fox said, don't worry, actually the grapes are anyway sour. So similarly, there are certain section of people who say, I tried hard in the material world, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's just enjoy this world. So they discard finding out the ultimate goal of life because they couldn't understand what it is. So then they resort to the philosophy of just enjoy. There's nothing after death. This life is all in all. So that is one section of society. And other section of society, we are still finding out. What is that? What is that I'm missing in my life? So people are trying to connect. People are trying to become one. People try to become one by trying to connect first with matter. People think probably what is missing in my life is luxury. Some people think what is missing in my life is money. Some people think what is missing in my life is beautiful women. Or it could be name and fame. But you find people, as they become richer and richer, they only accumulate more and more, but at the end of the day, their hearts are still crying tears of dissatisfaction. They're not satisfied. So sometimes someone devotee was sharing, if you look at the history of suicides, is usually it is found that it's mostly the rich people or richer section of society who commit suicide. Poor people don't commit suicide usually. We also hear in India farmers commit suicide. That's of course manipulation by, they get cheated and all that. But generally people, like this, what is the famous cafe in India? Where every, what is CCD? Cafe Coffee Day. Cafe Coffee Day, the founder of Cafe Coffee Day, he committed suicide, isn't it? Because he went into such a level of bankruptcy that, he had to commit suicide. So his money couldn't, of course, save him. Money left him before he left the body. So in this way you find people try to connect with matter, thinking that matter will satisfy me, but material things cannot satisfy us. And that is what the famous company Apple is also taking its vantage point from. They know people are looking to, fulfill themselves, and therefore every time they release, there are some fools who purchase every model of iPhone. Any such fool here? Yeah, none of us. Fool. Yeah. So generally people actually go for every model because they think if I'm not in trend, then I'm not part of the community. So in this way people put their hopes on matter, but matter cannot satisfy us. If people say money can make me happy, then ask the richest person, are you happy? They're not happy. If some people say opposite sex can make me happy, ask the man with a beautiful wife or wife with a beautiful, handsome husband, are you happy? They are not happy. If people say luxury can make me happy, ask people who are traveling in Emirates first class or business class, are they happy? They're not happy. Prabhupada gives a famous example of, I think, Rockefeller. He had a huge chain of restaurants, so he was very rich. But the thing is, his doctor told him that you have so much problem in your system that you cannot take anything but just drink soup. He's the owner of a chain of restaurants, international, and he can only drink soup. You see? So therefore, connecting with matter cannot make one happy. So people want oneness. So first we said, Prabhupada directly says, Mayavad oneness is nonsense. You cannot become God, because God never becomes God. Isn't it? Some years ago, there was a court case where 3 or 4 Kalkis were invited to the court to decide who is the Kalki. Isn't it? Finally, it was judged that none of them are Kalki. Because Kalki comes at the end of the millennium. Probably then read Bhāgavatam properly. They came a little early. Isn't it? So, like when Krishna came to this world, Krishna was God from day 1. In couple of days old, I think he killed Shakatasura. Couple of months old, he killed Putana. So it's a couple of years old, he killed so many other demons. And later on it became a habit for him, because to increase digestion fire, he had to kill one demon before lunch. Then he had enough fire to eat his lunch. So Krishna didn't have to do any tapasya. Or have you heard any incarnation of the Lord doing tapasya to become God? We never hear such things from scriptures. Isn't it? So therefore, first we rule out the Mayavad oneness of becoming God as bogus. And second, we rule out trying to become one with matter to become happy. It doesn't work. Because you ask people who have tried it, it didn't help them. Like when I was small, I was fan of this WWE. So, these action figures, you can move the hands and legs. So when I went to a mall in Dubai, so that time I told my father, I want this particular action figure of whom I used to consider my role model. So then my father said, it's too costly. I cannot get this for you. So then I stopped talking to him, at least for that day. And then that night, out of his great compassion, he told me that next day I will get it for you. When I come from office in the evening, I'll get it for you. So whole day I was dreaming I'll be, one with this. I'll get this action figure and we both will enjoy together. So then that night, evening when my father came home, he said he actually forgot to bring it. So again I stopped talking to my father. So then the next day, my father said, okay, today I will bring, don't worry. And that night, I told, when he was in office, I sent him a couple of reminders. And then, of course, he did purchase it, though it was costly. To satisfy me, he purchased it. And then when it came home, I was in great jubilation. I was jumping in joy. And then when I had the action figure, I was playing with it, I was taking care of it, as if I'm worshipping deity. That was my deity. But for how long? That night and several other nights. Few days later, it went into my drawer of my study table and I never looked at it again. Isn't it? So, in this world we find that, okay, if I get what I want, basically trying to become one, then I'll be happy. But can matter make you happy? Cannot make us happy. Okay, then matter may not be able to make us happy. Maybe people can, living entities can. Isn't it? So, therefore you have, if you open the internet, you have so many social sites. Facebook, you have Twitter, basically anywhere you can socialize, isn't it? You can through comments, dating sites, dating apps. So many things. Now people are trying, people have understood, some have understood, that things cannot make me happy, but people can. So now when they try for people, even people cannot make us happy. Isn't it? Gaurang Prabhu was sharing once, there was this man, he had some introduction to Krishna consciousness, but he felt himself very fortunate to have married the most beautiful woman in colony or in locality. And he was talking to Gaurang Prabhu and he was saying, only thing is, he found out that she had disease in the mouth. Sorry if it becomes too gruesome. But she had some disease in the mouth. So when they would try to come together, because of the disease, it would give out a certain smell. As he described, urine smell. So now what happened is, now others, when he would go with his wife to the market, everyone else is thinking, just look at this fortunate man. He has the most beautiful lady with him. I just hope I would have been that person. But this man was thinking, just see my misfortune. I'm there with this, person, and whenever they unite, his hopes of enjoyment are destroyed because of the disease. Isn't it? So sometimes when people in this world want to come together, you see that when man looks for woman, he looks for, what is any famous Hollywood actress? Anyone knows? Yeah. In trend. None of us. Hollywood, yeah. Okay. So who? Cameron Diaz, okay. So when man looks for woman, he thinks, okay, he is looking for Cameron Diaz in a woman. When woman looks for man, woman is looking for James Bond in a man. And therefore it never works out. Isn't it? So though people want to become one with one another, they look for perfection and it doesn't work. Isn't it? So in this way, you find in this world there are all kinds of centeredness. There is spouse-centeredness, family-centeredness, pet-centeredness, and friend-centeredness, relative-centeredness, but no Krishna center. Apart from Krishna, all kinds of centers are there. Isn't it? So, therefore, the disconnection of the heart always remains. People also come together. Sometimes people mistaken this oneness for oneness of body. So what Prahlad explains as yan maitunadis grihamedi sukham hitucham, sex life as insignificant, then the materialistic people keep it at the highest pedestal of the heart. Why? Because oneness, the tendency to become one is there. But what is that oneness they do not know. And because of which they think this oneness exists on a bodily platform. That's what tantric yoga is all about. Osho, Sambhog se samadhi. Let's enjoy. Through enjoyment, let us attain samadhi. So engage in such activities so much that you get renounced of it. But it doesn't work. Adding fuel to fire. So therefore, where is this disconnection present? Definitely not at the platform of body. The need for oneness exists at the platform of soul. Till now what we're discussing is the need for oneness on the platform of body. And clearly it doesn't work. Because the body is dead. And therefore Krishna tells Arjuna, the first instruction Krishna gives Arjuna is, Dehinos minyata dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhirastatra namuyati. Arjuna, you are not the body, you are embodied. A dhira who knows this, he doesn't get bewildered by the change of bodies. What is change of body? We also get bewildered. As devotees, we might get bewildered by change of bodies. When I heard of a very famous Hollywood actress back in those days, when she saw one white hair, she committed suicide. Change of body, bewildered. Isn't it? She was known as beauty queen or she had some titles like that. So in this way you find that people get bewildered by change of bodies. Therefore Kumaras, they asked for a boon. What is their benediction they wanted? We don't want to grow older. Because as we grow old, there are changes in the body which can bewilder us. But Krishna tells Arjuna, don't think that you are this body. You are spirit soul. And this teaching is so fundamental. Sometimes when Sri Prabhupada says, you are not this body, you are spirit soul, or when we hear it in Bhāgavatam classes, we think, oh, this thing I know. This guy is again repeating the same thing. It's actually that we don't know. More we realize this statement, every time we hear, it becomes source of great jubilation. Because we know, I am not this body. Only what is missing is practical application. So, when Krishna tells Arjuna, you are not this body, you are spirit soul, what does that mean? That means if we are looking for oneness, if we are looking for fulfillment, it is not through fulfillment of the senses. It is through fulfilling the soul's desires. So, the feeling of disconnection is there because of lack of oneness. So we all are looking for oneness. And definitely that's not the Mayavad oneness. It's not the oneness of the platform of the body or the mind. It's oneness of the soul. And what does that oneness of soul mean? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mamai vamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Krishna says these living entities are my parts and parcels. He claims them as mine. Mamai vamsho. Mama eva amshaha. These are my parts and parcels. How long? Like if I say your body is your part and parcel of your parents, for how long? Till the time you have this body. Isn't it? But the next time you get your body, that body is not going to be the part and parcel of your this parent. It will be of someone else, the body. But Krishna says the spirit souls, they are my parts and parcels, sanatanaha, for all time to come, eternally. This is on absolute platform. So, where is the disconnection? Where is the disconnection? The disconnection is with our spiritual essence of Sat Chit Ananda. The lack of understanding of Aham Brahmasmi. That I am spirit soul. A spirit spark, part and parcel of Krishna. So, in the Ijyopanishad invocation, it is said, Om Purnam Adah Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnate Vavashishyate. This is spiritual mathematics. Krishna is being explained in Ishopanishad that Krishna is so complete that anything comes out of him is complete and what remains is complete. So, if Krishna is complete and everything that comes out of Krishna is complete, and Krishna is claiming in the Bhagavad Gita that we are his parts and parcels, so are the spirit souls complete? Yes? Then why are we looking for fulfillment? Did you understand the question? Sorry? False ego. Okay. Quality and quantity. Okay, Krishna is complete, like super complete, and we are infinitely complete. But we are complete. So then, if we are complete, why are we looking for that connection? We are looking for something. Yes? I cannot hear you. Misidentification. So? Okay, good. Misidentification with the body. So on the bodily platform, we find that something is missing. So Prabhupada explains, Krishna is complete and he is independently complete. We are also complete, but we are dependent complete. In that way. Why? It's our natural position to depend. So we are complete in our natural position. Mukti hitva anyata rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. What is mukti? To be reinstated in our original constitutional position is called as mukti. Second kind of Bhāgavatam. So what does it mean? When we understand our true nature, then we can actually become satisfied. Yayatma suprasidati. That satisfaction is what we are looking for in our original constitutional position. I was hearing Prabhupada's morning walk today, that one disciple asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what is real Krishna consciousness? So Prabhupada asked him, what do you think is Krishna consciousness? Then he was thinking for some time and he said, Krishna consciousness means to see Krishna face to face. Prabhupada said, but so many people see Krishna, deity in the temple face to face. Are they all Krishna conscious? So he was dumbstruck. He couldn't say anything. Then Prabhupada said, and other devotees were also trying. And then finally Prabhupada said, real Krishna consciousness means to understand Krishna is master and we are his servant. This is real Krishna consciousness. That means there is sambandha, not that I am Krishna. So when we understand what real Krishna consciousness is, what is the nature of soul? What is the meaning of dependent complete? That means without Krishna, we will always remain unfulfilled. It's like, our heart. Some people have a heartbreak and they put a heart and an arrow passing through. You've seen that? What does that mean? Of course, that is not heartbreak yet. It is the Cupid's arrow, which has struck the heart. But later on, heartbreak also follows. But what do we mean by we are looking for something? There is actually a hole in the heart in the shape of Krishna. You put gold, it doesn't fit. Like puzzle pieces. There's a particular puzzle piece. Only if you put that particular puzzle piece, the puzzle is complete. Nothing else fits. So in our heart, there's a hole, not the physical heart, of course. In the soul, there's a hole in the shape of Krishna. So we need that Krishna to be put in our lives, and then we are complete. So what is our original constitutional position? Yeah, Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. Usually we don't like to be Das. So when usually Das, things are being talked about Das, servant, Krishna is someone else is the master, we are servant, it becomes very unattractive to hear. Isn't it? But actually it's not. Because the servanthood in the spiritual world is very different from what we experience in this world, material world. In material world, servant also is the enjoyer. Therefore, everyone is a Purusha. But actually, we are all Prakriti. Anyway, so, therefore, Kapila Muni is saying in Srimad Bhāgavatam that, my dear mother, please go and practice Krishna consciousness. Practice this Bhakti Yoga to the Supreme Lord, by doing which you can feel completely satisfied. And this is the disconnection we are experiencing. Disconnection from our constitutional position of eternal service to Krishna. Is that understandable? How many of you have understood what I'm saying till now? Raise your hand. Some of you haven't. Are there any questions till now? Okay. So, I found an interesting statement in Srimad Bhāgavatam 1.2.6, the most celebrated verse also. Sri Prabhupada quotes it a lot. Savai bumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahai tukiya pratihata yayatma suprasidati. If you see the purport, there are two paragraphs. In the second paragraph, Sri Prabhupada writes, can you take, oh, it's off. Let me just take it. The purport Prabhupada writes a very important statement. Okay. If we go to the second paragraph, Prabhupada says, okay, Krishna is the all-attractive living entity or eternal form amongst all of the living beings or eternal forms. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Krishna is the complete whole, and everything else is his part and parcel. The relation is one of the servant and the served. This is what we are discussing till now. And then Prabhupada says, it is transcendental, that relationship. What is nature is transcendental, is completely distinct from our experience in the material existence. So Prabhupada is already giving a disclaimer. Don't think you being a servant in this material world is like, you being a servant of Krishna. It's a whole different experience. Why? In material world, what is servanthood? Like an employee joins a company. Employee is thinking, how can I do less and less work and get more and more salary? And the owner is thinking, how I can pay less and less salary and get more and more work. So the relationship between the servant and the served is that of exploitation. But with Krishna, it's not like that. More and more one serves Krishna. Krishna wants to serve his servants even more. Isn't it? So then Prabhupada writes a very interesting statement. He says, this relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. If you want to be, basically he's saying, if anyone wants to experience the most intimate way of relationship, it is this. Between Krishna and the spirit soul, and it is that of servant and the served. Nothing can beat this. Therefore, this dasatva means me being a servant to Krishna. Thus, dasatva is so bliss producing in the heart of the living entity that he can forsake even sex life, which is considered otherwise as the most intimate way of living, isn't it? That's what the material is considered as most intimate, sex life. But this dasatva is even more intimate, so intimate that people even become brahmacharis and renounced order. And they don't want to do anything with this world. How is it possible? Because of this relationship. This relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. One can realize it as devotional service progresses, Prabhupada says. That will gradually give one the clue to actual life and please him to complete satisfaction. Yeah. So therefore, the soul is satisfied only when it comes in relationship with Krishna. That is direct bhakti yoga. If a devotee is very thirsty, Gaurang Prabhu was sharing that once he was very, very thirsty, he just come from his travel. And when he went into the temple, he was probably going there for the first time. Then some devotees first came and with a garland to Gaurang Prabhu and said, Prabhu, we want to give you this garland. Prabhu said, Prabhu, I'm very thirsty. Please give me some water. So then immediately one other devotee came and said, Prabhu, please sit down. And he started glorifying Gaurang Prabhu. Prabhu, I heard you this lecture, that lecture. He said, that is all right. First give me water. And then another devotee came and he said, Prabhu, what prasadam do you like? He said, I don't want anything. I just need some water. Isn't it? And then Gaurang Prabhu was sharing this. When a spirit soul is thirsty, The real thirst is for Krishna. And without that Krishna, whatever we may gather in our life is of almost no use, if not completely no use. Isn't it? So therefore, Kapila Muni explains in this, and Prabhupada explains further in the purport that real oneness is to be aligned in the same line with the Supreme Lord's intent. And that's how the acharyas also come. The acharyas in this world descend because they are on the mission of the Supreme Lord. And acharya means one who teaches by example. That is an acharya. And today is the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And we see Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what was his contribution to Krishna consciousness, to the Gaudiya Parampara? Or Bhaktivinoda Thakur's contribution? Any idea? Okay, why is it so important to celebrate Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day? Actually, it's also Sri Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance day. But even so important is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's disappearance day. Why?
Didn't he reinstate kind of the Sankirtan movement?
Very good. He revived the Sankirtan movement. Yes, very good. Any other? Yes, he removed the 13 Apasampradayas, cleared the path for all of us. Just imagine you came to ISKCON and there are 13 other Apasampradayas going on. You can imagine. Isn't it? Then we'll only come for Sunday feast prasadam. Yeah. Then what else? Sorry? Yes, he wrote many, many books. Very nice. And in many of the Western scholars have given him appreciation for presenting Krishna consciousness in a way they could understand. Okay, then? Sorry? He has written a lot of songs, yes. You can understand Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mood by reading his songs. Yeah, someone was saying from the back? Or they're talking to one another? Yeah. Yeah, correct. That was discussed. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, he gave birth to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Yeah, very true. This is on which Wi-Fi in the TV? Radha Govinda. What is it called? Samsung Q60?
Yes.
I'll just take a couple of minutes. This is from the 7th Goswami book by Rup Vilas Prabhu. I usually speak, I'm not qualified to speak anything, but I usually prefer philosophy. But discussing life and pastimes and this thing, I still have to cultivate a Vaishnava heart to relish these things. So I just took it from ISKCON Desire Tree, Life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because these are the special days to remember the acharyas and take inspiration and express gratitude to them. So on ISKCON Desire Tree, it was just given like a big article. So I just divided them into different years. We definitely don't have time for everything to go through the entire. I mean, if you have time, I have time. But it's understandable that we don't have time. So, in short, we'll just go through some of the years. And you see what happened in 15 AD? Any idea? Sorry? Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread his Sankirtan movement in 1500 AD. Yeah. So the movement based on ancient Sanskrit text of devotion to Krishna, like Gita and Bhāgavatam, spread all over India in a short time. It popularized Sankirtan of the Mahamantra as practical means of God realization and the panacea for the miseries of the age of materialism. So this happened in 1500 AD, and 1750 what happened? Just 2.5 centuries later, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also disappeared from this world, and many other Vaishnava acharyas also, the Goswamis also had left by this time. So gradually, the upper sampradayas of Sahajiyism and Mayavad crept in. Like Radheshyam Prabhu was saying in one lecture that he met a very elderly devotee wearing Vaishnava tilak. So he went and asked him, "Oh, you're a Vaishnava," and he wanted to know. He was wearing Urdhva Pundrak, so he was asking, which matha you belong to and everything. And that person said, "Actually, I'm an Advaitin." Advaitin means Mayavad. So then Radheshyam Prabhu asked, "If you're Advaitin, why are you wearing Vaishnava tilak?" So that person said, "Actually, we follow Chaitanya Path, Shankara Mat." Chaitanya Path means the path of Chaitanya, but our heart is in Shankara. We use bhakti as a means to become God. The Chaitanya Path, Shankara Mat. So like this, so many upper sampradayas that come up. And in the name of following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, lot of Sahajiyism had started in the regions, especially in the Gaudadesh, Bengal and Orissa. So 1838 marks the year of appearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur as Kedarnath Datta. He was born as Kedarnath Datta, and he was called as Daitya Kulera Prahlad. That was his title given. Why? Because he was regarded as Prahlad in the family of non-Vaishnavas, Daityas. But of course, his father was a devotee of Lord Nityananda, but generally other family was, Vaishnavism was not very much appreciated. And generally they also got the idea that Vaishnavism is practiced by less intelligent. If you're really intelligent, you would be studying scriptures and analyzing, like times of Nimai, same things have come up. Yeah. So I'll just read the highlighted. We went through this, and we just wanted to read the highlighted to save time. Yeah, his father passed away when he was 11 years old. And later on, there was poverty because the property of his grandmothers went somewhere else. Yeah. See, in 1850, when he was just 12, his mother arranged his future marriage to the 5-year-old daughter of Madhusudan Mitra Mahashai, a resident of Ranagatta. I can share this whole thing. You can read completely at your leisure. See, at the age of 18, in 1856, Kedarnath Datta entered college in Calcutta. Is it shown? Okay. He started writing extensively in English and Bengali. He was very good in so many languages. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a pro in English, Sanskrit, Urdu, Persian, Bengali, and Odia language. See, he studied English literature and taught speech making to a person who later became a well-known orator in British Parliament. Yeah. See, this is one thing in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life you'll find. Actually, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was born, and around his time, the Hinduism was mostly Mayavad. So he found it very offensive to consider Jiva and Krishna the same. So he actually preferred Christian theology over this monism. And he was exploring, so he had studied all the literatures like Quran, Bible, he had studied all the religious scriptures across the globe. Yeah, so Kedarnath Datta returned to Birnagar and found his native village ruined by cholera. There was a cholera and everyone had died. Acting on the last wishes of his grandfather, he undertook a pilgrimage and traveled to all the monasteries and temples in the state of Odisha. As a young householder, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur began to consider the question of the means of his livelihood. He was not interested in business because he felt there is a necessary dishonesty. Because you cannot be too honest in business. It becomes charity. So he felt that it is not suitable for him. So he was very Brahminical that he became a school teacher because there is no dishonesty involved. Yeah. You have the mic with you? You can read. The highlighted portion you can read. His first son is Annada Prasad Achyutananda. Yeah. In 1860 we are reading. Yeah. Read in the mic. This is the highlighted portion.
He published a book in English that described all the ashramas and temples in the state of Orissa, which he had visited earlier. During his post as headmaster of Medinapura High School, Kedarnath Datta looked into the various religious sects, the philosophies and practices. He could see the people in general were taking religion cheaply. He came to understand the unique importance of Sankirtan movement, spreading the love of God through chanting of His names, that had been established in Bengal by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unfortunately, at this time, his movement was not well represented.
So therefore, Kedarnath Datta, after studying all the scriptures, his final conclusion was that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the topmost crest-jewel philosophy of the goal of life, of attaining love of God. But only his disappointment was that movement was not well represented. So then, of course, then he has put endeavors to write books and poems and sending it across to various learned people, pandits and scholars. He has to spread this message of Lord Chaitanya. Yes, next. We read the highlighted portion.
Kedarnath Datta accepted the post of deputy magistrate in the government of Bengal. Later, after seeing the corruption of the government workers, he became collectorate officer.
That is in 1861. At the age of what? How old is he in 1861? 23. Yes. Okay, 1866. I'm just going through this because I didn't highlight anything. But of course, this is the time he became fluent in Persian and Urdu to settle disputes. Yeah, 1868, at the age of 30. Yeah, next. This, can you read this highlighted portion?
He became the deputy magistrate in Dinajapur, West Bengal, the highest rank in the government that could be held by an Indian person during the British rule. At this time, he was finally able to procure rare copies of the sacred text Srimad Bhāgavatam, describing the pastimes of Krishna and his associates, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, the biography of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He read Chaitanya Charitamrita repeatedly. His faith increased until he was absorbed in the sacred text all day and night. He began incessantly submitting heartfelt prayers for the Lord's mercy. He came to understand the supreme majesty and power of the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and his incarnation in this age, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He published a song about Lord Chaitanya entitled Satchitananda Prema Lankara.
Yeah, so this is in 1868 at the age of 30. So his exploration finally ended here. Finally, he was satisfied with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in 1869, he started preaching. See? There was a ghost next.
He was transferred to Champaran, during which time his second son, Radhika Prasad, was born. In Champaran, people used to worship a ghost in a banyan tree. The ghost had power to influence the mind of the local judge to decide in the favor of the worshipper. Sri Kedarnath Datta advised a local scholar to read Srimad Bhāgavatam under the tree continuously, day and night. After 1 month, the tree crashed to the ground and many people found renewed faith in the message of Srimad Bhāgavatam.
Then he moved to the holy city of Jagannath Puri. That was in 1869. So now 1873.
Near the capital of Odisha, in the town of Kamanala, there lived
I'll just tell you this because this is a pretty big thing. So what happened in Kamanala, there was a mystic named Biskisena. So he was a mystic yogi. So what he would do, he was so powerful he could actually emanate fire from his head. And he claimed himself to be Mahavishnu, or Vishnu, not Mahavishnu, Vishnu. And he had his associates, Brahma and Shiva. So they were the divine trinity. So he would actually have, he would actually influence so many people. Many of the kings in Odisha, they had come under his sway, and they had actually started giving him money, paying the taxes, and even they were ready to construct a temple for him. And they would also send him women. I don't know why he needed women. So they would also send him women. So when Kedarnath Datta got to know about this, actually before that he had claimed to the local people that he was the one who will be driving out British from Odisha at least, and he'll become the next king. So then when British found out that this upstart is there who is going against their rule, they wanted to put an end to this. So they told the local government to put him behind bars. So because he was so powerful, people were so scared to even go near him, what to talk about telling him to stop his activities. So there was one deputy magistrate or someone, what is his name? No, Dr. Mr. Revan Shah. Revan Shah told Kedarnath Dutt, actually Kedarnath Dutt was deputy magistrate. He said that this fellow is an upstart, so you should bring him to justice. So Kedarnath Dutt goes to this guy and he sees that this guy is actually a mystic yogi. So Kedarnath suggested to him that you are a mystic yogi, you have done a lot of accomplishments in yoga and tantra, so why don't you come to Jagannath Puri and surrender to Jagannath? He is the Lord of the universe. So immediately with, this man could not tolerate someone else being called as God. He said, who is Jagannath? This Jagannath is only a hunk of wood. But real supreme person is me. Like that he said. So Kedarnath Dutt became so furious. Immediately he handcuffed him and took him to jail. So he was put in prison, and of course there were about 72 officers, 72 to 100 officers just to guard him alone. So then there was a court case, and in the court case, it went for about 18 days. And what he would do, he would actually, because he has mystic powers, he could easily understand who all are connected to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he had threatened Bhaktivinoda Thakur that if you try to capture me, if you go ahead with this case, then I'm going to kill the people who are most dear to you. Sounds like a terrorist, isn't it? And then first, in the day 6 of the court trial of 18 days, he had Bhaktivinoda Thakur's daughter Kadambini. She became severely ill, almost about to die. And what was Bhaktivinoda Thakur's response? He said, if we all have to die, let us die. But this fellow will not go ahead with this. So bold. And then he anyway continued. Daily the court hearing was going on and the case of Bhaktivinoda Thakur was up and they were winning. And the last day, Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself became ill, about almost to the point of dying. But still, Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not give up. And of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur figured, where did the mystic yogi store his powers? In his hair. And then one medical officer came and cut out his hair when he was sentenced to jail. And this fellow had been fasting all this time during the hearing, and now that his powers were also gone, he fell on the ground. They took him into the jail. He couldn't tolerate the insult. He took poison and died. So the one thing you can see how bold acharyas were. Later on, there's also a pastime of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Diksha Guru. Anyone knows the name? Diksha Guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Who? Yeah, Vipin Bihari Goswami. Vipin Bihari Goswami. So once, by this time, Bimal Prasad was about 7 years old or so. So he took Bimal Prasad along with him to meet Vipin Bihari Goswami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is highly advanced devotee, and everyone knew about it in society. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur would meet his Diksha Guru, though Bhaktivinoda Thakur is more advanced, he would behave like a complete humble disciple. So when this particular occasion when Bimalam Prasad was also with him, that time he offered his prostrate obeisances to Vipin Bihari Goswami. And what did Vipin Bihari Goswami do? He blessed him by placing his foot on the head of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So of course Bhaktivinoda Thakur doesn't mind, but Bimala Prasad could not tolerate it. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur went out of the room for something, immediately Bimala Prasad, he started to chastise. 7-year-old Bimala Prasad began chastising this guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, saying that you are such an impudent that you think you can place your foot on Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We understand that you are the guru, you are Diksha Guru, but that doesn't mean you don't identify who is more advanced than you. And therefore, Bimala Prasad says, therefore now I've understood you are just a Kanishta Adhikari because you are not able to make a distinction. This is Bimala Prasad's words. And then as Bhaktivinoda Thakur came back, immediately the conversation changed. He switched the conversation. But later on, before they left, Vipin Bihari Goswami revealed his heart to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, your child is very, very rude, that he is ready to chastise me. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur didn't say anything. But later on, whomever he would meet, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he would proudly tell them Bimal Prasad is so bold in preaching that once he even chastised my guru. So you will see the acharyas are known for bold presentation. When I talk about bold presentation of Krishna consciousness, I don't mean foolishly bold. Not that new person coming to the temple hall, you say you are not this body, your spirit, soul, give up everything, shave your head. Not like that. But they were bold. They were bold in presenting Krishna to the world. Isn't it? So, of course, maybe we'll just go later on. Quickly we'll go through. See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur spent much time in seclusion in these years. And this is the time he wrote a lot of works like Krishna Samhita, Tattva Sutram and Tattva Viveka. There's so many things. 1874 is also a very important year. See, this is why? Because Bimala Prasad was born in that year, 1874. And you know the famous pastime where in Puri the Rath stopped and only moved when Jagannath offered his mercy to Bimala Prasad. And glories of Bimala Prasad is mentioned here. Yeah. See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur discovered that the king of Puri had misappropriated 80,000 rupees. This money belonged to the temple. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur forced the king to offer Jagannath meals 52 times daily in retribution. 52 times. This diminished the money very quickly. The king was furious and began, with the help of 50 pandits, a 30-day tantric ritual sacrifice meant for killing Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But what happened? When the last oblations were poured into the sacrificial fire, it was the king's son who died instead of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Because Tantra is how the black magic, if it is released, it has to kill someone. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was protected by the Supreme Lord. So the king's son died instead. Yeah. So the famous book Shri Krishna Samhita and Krishna Kalpataru were published in Naraila. These two works caught the attention of many Indian pundits and educated men. So he got a letter from Dr. Reinhold Rost. See, by presenting Krishna's character and his worship in a most sublime and transcendental light, then has hitherto been the custom to regard him, you have rendered an essential service to your co-religionists. That means he made it very easy for others to understand, who are not very familiar with such works. Then Varada Prasad and Viraja Prasad were born, 5th and 6th son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yeah, this is the Vipin Bihari Goswami which I told you about. 7th son Lalit Prasad was also born. Yeah, see here. This is Bhakti Vimal Prasad Singh. You're acting like big guru and you place your feet on the heads of those who you don't know. If you knew who the Thakur is, you would not do it. But you do not know. My father is a great exalted Nitya Siddha, an eternal associate of Shri Radha and Krishna, who has come here to fulfill their mission. Do you think you're so advanced that you can place your feet on the head of such a person? I think not. You have proven yourself to be a Kanishta Adhikari, a neophyte, by not being able to distinguish between those who are advanced and those who are less advanced. Therefore, I suggest that you desist from this practice any further. 7-year-old. No? Yeah. And then, I think 1887. So yeah, in 1887, he was resolved to quit the government service and go to Vrindavan with Bhakti Bringa Mahashai for the rest of his life. But then, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in his dream and told Bhaktivinoda Thakur, actually, there's one important part of your mission remaining. You can always go to Vrindavan. But first, this mission has to be accomplished. What is that mission? To find the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is still remaining. So then, Bhakti Bringa Mahashai advised him, you transfer your job to Krishnanagar near Navadvip because it become easy to fulfill your mission. And what happened in Krishnanagar, one day he was sitting on the ceiling of this Rani Dharmashala in Navadvip, chanting Hare Krishna. So that time he saw in the far distant, near a tal tree, there was a bright light shining. He couldn't understand what this bright light was. So then later on he started going to Krishnanagar library, started doing his research, compared various maps of old Navadvip and new Navadvip, compared with the scriptures, what the Acharyas are saying, and finally understood that should be the place of birth of Lord Chaitanya. Navadvip, actual Navadvip. So what did he do? How did he confirm? He took Jagannath Das Babaji. Jagannath Das Babaji was so old that actually he could only pray and be in a basket. He could not walk, he could not do anything. So he would have his helper who would actually carry Jagannath Das Babaji in a basket everywhere. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur called for Jagannath Das Babaji to this place. And Jagannath Das Babaji, as soon as he reached this place, identified by Bhaktivinoda Thakur as birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, immediately jumped up, saying, Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Like they started chanting. Then it was concluded that this is confirmed by pure devotee like Jagannath Das Babaji that this is birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. And this is one important aspect of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mission. He identified Navadvip. Then later on you see in the same year, Bhaktivinoda Thakur renovated the house of Srila Jagannath Das Babaji at Ravas Ghat, and he took leave from office for 2 years. I don't think you can do that now, but in those days you could. And of course at this level of his position. Took leave from office for 2 years and acquired a plot at Sri Godrum Dweep, where he wanted to build his Bhakti Kutir, called it Surabhi Kunj. And that is where he established Namahatta preaching. Today's Namahatta is also, Jayapatak Maharaj said that he based it on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Namahatta preaching. Later on, what he would do to grow his preaching, he would go door to door asking for 1 rupee. 1 rupee in exchange. Just 1 rupee to expand his preaching. And who is going? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. A great Acharya. He is going door to door begging for 1 rupee. So this is the same place, Godum Dweep, where Nityanand Prabhu also had opened his Namahatta. Namahatta means what? Market of the holy name, where you give out holy name. Yeah. So while he was stationed at Krishnanagar, every moment was spent in Mayapur, the holy land of the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. When the birthplace was uncovered, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Jagannath Das Babaji would worship Lord Chaitanya there. 1891, 390. We can go to 96. Yeah. So 96 is also very important because this is the time when he had his first book, Lord Chaitanya, his Life and Precepts, which was sent out of India to Western world. It is given actually to some professors he had sent. Yeah. This book found its way into the library of Royal Asiatic Society in London, the library of McGill University in Canada, and other respectable institutions. It was reviewed in the Journal of Royal Asiatic Society by Mr. F.W. Fraser, an erudite European scholar. So this is how he started Western outreach. Yeah. In one of his letters to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this Sri Sisira Kumar Ghosh, founder of Amrita Bazar Patrika, he said, I have not seen the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, but I consider you to be the 7th Goswami. This is where the title comes from. Yeah, the Bhakti Kuti, the Thakur began solitary bhajan. He had many visitors. Some simply wanted to disturb him, whereas others were sincere and benefited greatly from his spiritual inspiration. So in 1910, what does he do? He shut himself away from the world and entered Samadhi, claiming paralysis. He devoted the remainder of his years to solitary bhajan, meditation, prayer, and chanting Lord Krishna's holy names. And in 1914, what we're celebrating, on June 23rd, just before noon at Jagannath Puri, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada left his body. On the Gaudiya Panjika calendar, this day was also the disappearance day of Sri Gadadhar Pandit. His bodily remains were taken from Odisha back to his beloved Godruma in the land of Nadia, the land of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his eternal pastimes. Amidst Sankirtan, congregational chanting of the Lord's holy names, his remains were interred in Godruma. Some things, let's see here. See this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur would take rest between 7:30 to 8, wake up by 10 at night to write. 4 to 4:30 again he would take some rest. Then again he would chant till 7. 7 to 7:30 he would write, and 7:30 to 8:30 he would read. And if guests come, he would receive guests or continue to read. And then another power nap, 9:30 to 9:45, 15 minutes. And 9:45 he would take his bath and have a breakfast of milk, chapatis and fruits. And 9:55 go to the court in carriage. How would he go to his work? He would wear coat and pants to court, but with double-sized tulsi neck beads and Vaishnava tilak. He was very strong in his decision. He would decide immediately. He did not allow any humbug in his court. No upstart could stand before him. He would shave his head monthly. See, this is interesting. He never allowed harmonium in his kirtan. Yeah, in his Sankirtan, considering it a distraction from the sound of the holy name. Someone was saying because there was no amplification system in those days. But I don't know why. He never had any debts. All the Indian youths, you can relate to this. He never had any debts. At 10 a.m., court began, 1 p.m. it finished. He'd come home and bathe and refresh, and again 2 to 5 he would work in office. And 5 p.m. till 7:30 or so, he would translate work from Sanskrit Bengali and have an evening dinner, bath and dinner. This is a brief idea of his day. He would always consult pocket watch. He was very punctual, whatever he did. Charitable to Brahmanas, befriended other castes, never showed pride. His amiable disposition was a characteristic feature of his life. Never accepted gifts from anyone. He even declined all honors and titles offered by the government to him on the grounds that they might stand against his holy mission of life. He was very strict in moral principles, avoided the luxurious life. He would not even chew betel. He disliked theatres because they were frequented by public women. He spoke Bengali, Sanskrit, English, Latin, Urdu, Persian, Oriya, even Latin. He started writing books at the age of 12. And continued turning out a profuse number of volumes up until his departure from this world. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantha Srimad Bhāgavatam ki, Dai Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Thank you for all of your patient hearing. There is no prasadam, fasting till noon. So good thing we can feast on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's glories. Hare Krishna. Yes.